What's up, everybody? This is Newton Mayenge. Welcome to the league. The topic of today's show is on animal care, and I couldn't have this conversation without our next guest. She is not only an animal welfare activist, she's also an amazing actress. You may have seen her on things more recently like Flipped, which is on Quibi, All Rise. She was also on Jane the Virgin. She was on NCIS and many, many more. I would love to welcome not only a dear friend, but a great human being, our friend, Iris Almario. Hey, Iris, welcome to the league. How you been?
Hi, I'm great. How you been?
I've been good. Well, just trying to navigate like we always have been. Doing the show, of course. Navigate through COVID. How are you and the family doing?
Well, thank goodness we're good. We're good, and we're just doing this quarantine just like everyone else, and
Yes.
hoping that we can figure this out where we can all be together again. I miss you guys.
No, we miss you too. We haven't seen each other since what, like December, a little bit before the COVID.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't seen each other for a while. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Iris is a dear friend of Whitney's and myself, and we are just so blessed to have her in our lives. And we're just so grateful that we're just grateful that you're doing okay. And how's your mom, by the way, too?
Oh, thank you. Well, you guys are very dear to me too. So I was doing the happy dance when you guys got engaged. I was like, yes.
Thank you.
My mom she's doing okay. We take it a day at a time. She is in that demographic that's higher risk when it comes to COVID. So we're very careful if she needs to go out. She's senior, disabled. But she's in good spirits, because she has me around a little bit more often now. So
thank God.
Yeah, the silver lining. Yeah. Yes.
Well, tell her I said hello. Tell her we said hello.
I will. Thank you.
So the topic of the show today is on animal care. And you are not only a phenomenal actress, but you're also an activist, I would say, in regards to animals. And you have an organization that I'd love to have a conversation with you about, because animal care is dear to me. I have a little dog, and Daisy, and she was a rescue dog. And
that's right. Yeah. The best kind.
Yes. So we wanted to talk about your nonprofit and how you kind of got started.
Well, sure. My nonprofit is called WUFA, Women United for Animal Welfare. We are a team of women that came together because we love animals and wanted to help and make a difference. Part of the team comes from animal rescue. The other half comes from veterinarian care. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we've covered, two good bases. Yeah. And it's interesting. A lot of people think that we're a rescue, and we're not. We don't actually have a physical space where we can bring animals to. We actually have partners globally, and we help them with their rescue efforts. And that can translate into setting up spay and neuter programs, helping find fosters and adopters, setting up educational programs, things of that nature. Yeah. So, we actually just had 3 dogs recently that came from Korea, survivors from the dog meat trade. They were at a Korean dog meat farm. And, they're here, and 2 of them have gotten adopted. I'm sorry, 3 of them have gotten adopted because it's 4 dogs. And the other is in foster care right now. And we're, little by little, because she just got here a couple days ago, and she's still, I think, getting her bearings. It's very different, and she's in good hands. And I love this work. And I love meeting so many people who love animals. I didn't even know. I didn't grow up with animals because, I'm going to be very honest, I'm actually allergic.
Oh, wow. So, really?
Yeah, I'm allergic. So I have to deal with my allergies. And we have, cats and dogs at home. Yeah. So I have to figure it out. And when I was first volunteering, I actually couldn't volunteer in an enclosed space. I had to volunteer outside with the animals just because I would break out in hives and, the whole works. It was very dramatic. Yeah. But I feel like I've gotten better with that.
Wow. So how did you get Coco, and how did that whole process? And for those of you who don't know, Coco is Iris's dog. Love her so much.
Oh,
Please tell us
thank
about
you.
how that happened.
I love talking about Coco. Coco's great. Coco with a K, you know. And well, actually, I began as a volunteer
Okay.
at rescues here in LA, and I ended up going to China and helping out a rescue there. And I met Coco there. Well, I met tons of dogs there.
Hmm.
And on our way back, myself and Valerie Ianello, who happens to be the president of WUFA,
Yeah.
we were there together. We brought back 4 dogs, 3 from a slaughterhouse, and then Coco. Coco was a stray, and she was new to the rescue. She had only been there a short time when Valerie and I arrived. She wasn't moving, and we had no idea if she had gotten hit by a car, if maybe she had a broken bone or a fracture. So, Valerie made the decision and said she's going to be one of the dogs that we bring back. And she flew
Wow.
the whole way by my feet. And the very next day, I took her to the bone specialist, who said, it's neither one of those things. She actually has rheumatoid arthritis, which I had no idea that dogs could get. And
Yeah.
that basically is when the body attacks the joints. So she's been with me for a little over 3 years. And during that time, her bones have crippled. And she's never been able to, walk like regular dogs.
Yeah.
But she can kind of hustle around, and we entertained the idea of getting wheels for her, but her body just can't deal with the impact of like the wheels hitting the ground like that. So she's very happy in her stroller and in her VIP ride in her bag on my shoulder. But she's a happy dog, and she goes everywhere with me, and LA is a great place because people love dogs here, so I can take her on set.
Yes.
Now during quarantine, she just loves it because we're home most of the time together.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's, people are like, oh, my poor thing. And I go, don't feel sorry for her, because I think this is all she's known.
Yes.
And she's just a very happy dog. She's smiling. She loves to, play with toys, and she loves people and other dogs. And so, yeah.
And every time I see your Instagram stories, and every time I see her, she's always smiling. She's always happy. I saw something that you had, I think it was yesterday or the other day, and I think it was a throwback. You said, "Man, I did all the work, and Coco is the one who's tired." So that was like the one time I didn't see her ever. Smile at that point.
That's so true. Yes, it was funny because I did a hosting gig, and it's so funny because it's just all guys on set, right? And this is before quarantine, because it was a throwback picture. And they're all tough. And as soon as I come in with Coco, they're like, "Oh, Coco." I'm like, who are you right now? But we had been there for a little bit, and so by the time I got her in the car and started driving, I looked over, and she was just like, she was over it.
Yeah.
She wanted to go home. And so that's why I was like, I did all the work. All you did was just hang out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so important for you to advocate for making sure these dogs get taken care of?
They need us. I think a lot of people think that, oh, if you find a dog, just take him to the shelter and they'll be fine. Yes, take him to a shelter, and we're hoping that they're microchipped so we can find their owner.
Yes.
And what's happening is that, people go, oh, this dog is just so cute. And because it's cute, they might actually get adopted. But what ends up happening, it doesn't fit their lifestyle, right? Because if you get a husky, they need a lot of exercise, right? And if you're in a small apartment, and if you don't have a yard, and if you don't hike, it's really unfair to the dog and yourself, because they're going to go stir crazy.
Yeah.
And, it's going to drive you nuts. And then you have owner surrender. And so you get a lot of that at the shelter. And, they only have just so much space for all these animals.
Yeah.
And then they have to, well, that's what I hear, is that they say they have to put these animals down to create more space for other animals to come in. And that's just awful. I mean, I think people think, oh, they only put them down because, they're really old or they're really sick. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
There are some dogs that are put down that are in neither one of those situations. And it's heartbreaking, and these dogs don't understand. So I feel like, if I can do my part, my bit, and getting the word out and educating people on what adoption is like, because I hear people that say, "Oh, but what about the dogs in stores? I mean, they deserve a life too." I'm like, yes, but you're participating and adding more to the problem, then those puppy mills will never be shut down. And it is not a place where you want your dog from. You know, they're breeding different kinds of dogs, and they're, you know, eventually later have defects or even birth defects at the get-go. And it's very sad, like what they go through.
Wow. And you know, I'm as you were talking, I was thinking about Daisy, because she was a rescue dog. And when I first got her, she was very scared. She had gotten abused. So she was beaten, and I got her at 8 months old. And she was so scared of like every single thing. But when I first met her, she came to me right away. And she just started licking me. And she just had all this love. And I've always had animals. I've had like 5 dogs before Daisy growing up. But her, for whatever reason, was...
She chose you.
She did.
That's amazing. That's amazing. She felt your energy. She was like, this is my person.
Yes.
That's amazing. I love that. You know, so we help with dogs locally and abroad. And our dogs that are abroad, a lot of them come from the dog meat trade. Okay. And, you know, I feel like Coco was lucky because she was rescued from the street right before something that's called the Yulin Festival in China, which is an annual festival. They call it festival, where dog and cat meat is consumed for, you know, human consumption. And it's 10 days, and it's on summer solstice. And the idea behind it is, or the school of thought is, that you eat more dog or cat meat to cool the body. So it's ridiculous. It's not true. And it's awful. And it's not like it's one type of dog. It's a free for all. It's all types of dogs. And it's heartbreaking. You know, you see these dogs all crushed into cages. You know, they're on these slaughter trucks. By the time they get to wherever it is that they're getting to, they're pulling them out. And a lot of them are dead. Some of them are dying, fractured bones because they're all crushed in. They haven't eaten for over 24 hours. They haven't had anything to drink for over 24 hours. It's awful. It's really awful. So when I found out about the dog meat trade, I could not unknow that. I couldn't unsee it. And I thought, okay, how can I help? And that's when I ended up volunteering at a rescue that worked with dog meat trade survivors, and then eventually got together with some friends and then formed WUFA, Women United for Animal Welfare. Women United, Men Invited. That's what it is.
I love that. And I've seen photos and things like that of that whole festival. It's ridiculous. It really breaks my heart, because it's like these dogs, they fear things like we fear things. They're happy just like we're happy. You know, when they get anxiety just like we get anxiety. And I don't think a lot of that stuff is put into consideration when handling these animals, because it's deeper than just an animal. They have a soul and a heart just like we do.
100%. And, you know, there are a lot of people that have dogs as therapy dogs. And there's a reason for it, right? It's because they help with our anxiety, and they calm us down, and they are living souls, living, eating, breathing, and you've got to take care of them. And they also eat and go to the bathroom and need playtime. And, you know, you can't just get an animal, a dog or cat, and then just go, okay, I'll deal with you when I deal with you. And, you know, with me, I have Coco, who's a special needs dog. I mean, she's basically at my mercy to take her out to potty. And I am really conscious of that. And, you know, that's why I want to take her into my office. If I'm home, if I go out, I'll take her with me if I can, unless I'm going to the supermarket or something like that. But yeah, I just want people to understand that it is a big responsibility. I would love owner surrender to stop. You know, to me, if you are adopting a dog, that is part of your family. And treat him or her as such. Yes.
No, I totally agree. I mean, that's why I got the Pug Life shirt on right here. You know,
that's great.
Pug Life. Yay.
Representing. Oh, gosh.
also wanted to kind of switch gear here a little bit and talk about your amazing career that you've still been killing despite quarantine and COVID. You are fantastic. You know that?
You are so sweet. Thank you. I mean, I try to keep busy. Yeah, well, listen, at the beginning of quarantine, I was like, okay, what do I do with myself? And I needed some sort of schedule because I started to get depressed, I guess, like most people.
Yes.
A little disoriented and confused, not knowing, what's going on, what's the new normal. I thought maybe it was only going to be for a certain amount of time. And here we are months later, still trying to figure it out. And then we keep hearing it's probably not going to be normal for another like year or two.
Yeah.
So I go, okay. So what I ended up doing was, I started taking classes with master teachers that I normally don't have an opportunity to take class with because I am so busy.
Yes.
And here in LA and also from Vancouver. And then I also teach and coach. So that has kept me on top of my game also, right? And I always learn from my students.
Yes.
And also workshops and seminars. And I've done, a lot of hosting during this time. Interestingly enough, safety training videos in English and Spanish covering COVID-19. So I've learned a ton reading off the teleprompter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother technique within itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it looks like the industry is starting to open up a little by little. I don't know anything that's actually shooting here in LA. It seems like film and television is being shot everywhere else, right? Like Atlanta or Vancouver or Utah. Yeah. I did do a photo shoot recently, and CDC guidelines were respected. The social distancing, the mask. As an artist, you feel vulnerable because the one that's going to have to take off their mask is you. Yeah. So to me, it's very important that everyone is by the book.
Yes.
At this point, I'm doing quite a few of voiceover auditions.
Okay.
And we do have a recording studio at home, so I'm able to do that from here. So that's very lucky.
Y'all do have a pretty bomb recording studio over there.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah.
I am lucky. I'm not the musician in the family, so.
Tell Chris I harmonize, so he needs a hook.
Okay. All right. I'll give him the message for you. I'll put in a good word. I can't wait for him to watch this.
I had a little something in my throat, so
right, you're like me.
Yeah, it didn't come off like I wanted to, but you get the gist. You gotta take your audition opportunities when you can.
Yeah, exactly. Especially right now, right?
Yeah. We also want to mention that you have something on Quibi that was fantastic. Are you able to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I can because Quibi launched in I think April 1st. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, April, and Flipped, the comedy series that I worked on, was one of the first shows that launched that same day, and so it's very interesting. These episodes are they're 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, and
so. Mrs. Ortega is the name of my character. It's also with Will Forte and Caitlin Olsen. Actually, Caitlin Olsen was just nominated for Best Actress for an Emmy. So we're very excited for her. Very cool. So we did, I think it was 10 episodes in less than 10 minutes. I recur, so I'm in a few of these episodes. In the beginning, you were able to just watch it on your phone. I think the format has opened up to be able to watch it on a tablet or iPad. And it's really funny. It's about this couple, the Melfis, by Will Forte and Caitlin Olsen, who, if you love HGTV, people who flip houses, and that's what they do, but they end up working for the Mexican mafia. And that's where, once that storyline comes in, you'll see me. I had a blast. It was fun. There were a lot of amazing people on it, Will and Caitlin and Arturo Castro, Andy Garcia, Eva Longoria, and they were all great. And I was just very blessed that I got to work with all of them,
Yeah.
It's great.
And I did want to ask you, while you're still navigating and still getting work done during quarantine, is there, and I've actually just similar question before, is there a tip now that we're in quarantine that you can give actors to kind of navigate through these unprecedented times to still keep busy?
I can tell you what I've done, right? Which is take class. You want to make sure that you're still on top of your game, because at any given moment you can get that audition and you don't want to be rusty, right? Because you can get rusty. Also, set up your self-tape studio. My self-tape studio was not set up before quarantine. I was actually going somewhere, paying someone else to actually, shoot it, edit it, upload it, just do the work. And now I can do that. So yes, I'm saving money, but it also helps make me feel a little bit more useful and more part of the whole creative process, not just doing the acting, but also the behind the scenes. And also give yourself a break. I would say you can dedicate maybe an hour a day, if that, to your craft. So you're not trying to do everything at once, because don't be like me in this sense. I definitely overscheduled myself. I definitely got burnt out. And it was just last week that I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And I don't think that and I think I posted this on my Instagram a while back. If you're not working, if you're not on set, that doesn't mean that you're not an actor, right?
Yes.
Your work doesn't define you. You're an artist, create with your friends, or create on your own. You can read a book. Right now I'm reading Oliver Stone's memoir.
Oh, wow.
And that just came out. And so, do things that maybe sometimes you don't get a chance to do outside of quarantine because you're so busy. So if that means, sitting down and watching a show, then watch that. That's okay. Like, just be gentle with yourself. But, if you see that you're going into some sort of depression, try to break out of it. Call a friend, take a walk around the neighborhood, or, whatever.
Yeah. Iris, so where can everyone continue to follow you, be it your projects or your nonprofit?
For my nonprofit, WUFA, you can go to our website, which is www.wufa.org, and that's spelled WUFAW, which stands for Women United for Animal Welfare. And you'll get to see the latest. And you can also sign up for our newsletter and definitely get the latest there. We're also on everything. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look for us, WUFA Official, or Dogs of WUFA on Twitter. For myself, social media wise, my platform of choice is Instagram, and it's just my name, Iris Almario. Also on Twitter, I don't really use it as much, but if someone tweets at me, I'll tweet you back. And again, it's just my name. And then Facebook, I'm really thinking about what to do with it, because I have a private one just for friends and family, but I'm thinking maybe I need a public one, but I don't have one just yet. But if you want to get me, I do my best to respond to everyone on Instagram.
Iris, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the amazing stuff that you're doing with these animals. You're literally saving their lives. And thank you for being an inspiration to just everyone in the industry.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on. That's really sweet. You know what? I'm just a little drop in the bucket when it comes to helping and rescue. There's so many amazing people that, have these loving hearts that love animals and want to do right by them. So I'm just honored to be a part of that in any which way that I can. So, but thank you. It's so great seeing you guys, because I saw Whitney in the beginning. And I hope I get to see you guys live in person, sooner rather than later.
Yes, I am putting out there. We need to write something and film something.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be fun. All right. Okay.
So I'm already putting it out there. It's done.
Okay. Love it.
Well, guys, this is Newton Mayenge, our amazing guest, Iris Almario, the League Talk Show. Everyone, please stay safe. Take care of yourselves, you and your families. We're signing off. Iris, where can everyone donate to your nonprofit?
Well, thanks for asking. You can donate to WUFA. It's www.wufa.org. We are a 501c3, which means that your donations are all tax deductible. No one gets paid. So the money 100% goes to the animals in need. So, and people are like, oh, I don't have much. And honestly, every bit counts. So if you could only just do a few dollars, like $5, fine, that's great. And if you could do more, we so appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so do the animals.
That's awesome.
Thanks.